Hello. Happy Tuesday. Welcome. Welcome to Coffee with Lilli. I'm going to wait for a minute to see if anybody joins in. So, today, a popular topic in the healing world. And if you're not sure what anxious attachment is, stay here because I will be happy to present what my understanding of an anxious attachment style is. But what I love, if I can get a little bit grateful, I guess, and just, I don't know, be in the flow, is that more people, like there are lots of people now on Instagram talking about these different indicators of self, of wounded self sometimes, right? And like the holistic psychologist and so many different other Instagram accounts. Obviously, one of my biggest teachers is Mastin Kipp, which you may know or you may not know depending on when you're jumping into the community. But, so a little bit about anxious attachment style. This is a type of attachment wound whereby you are triggered by fear of abandonment, triggered by fear of being underappreciated, being unheard, unseen, and the lack of presence in your awareness, whether that be physical presence or a presence like, let's say via text or something like that. If there is not constant affirmation of your worthiness or of love or attention, then there's a trigger with you with abandonment. And there can be lots of kind of symptoms of this. Like you may notice jealousy is one of your friends. I'm raising my hand. This is like, I've healed for, that a lot, but that was me for sure 5 years ago or so. So you're friends with jealousy. You're friends with constantly checking your phone to see if they texted you back. You're friends with, I had something and I lost it. You're friends with, oh my God, my mind's going blank today. You're friends with like that swirling negative thought pattern where if you don't hear from people, it just goes into like, are they dead? Or what's wrong? Did they get in a car accident and something happened? And it's a really, hard place to be in because you're also friends with anxiety. Like if you notice a lot of anxious symptoms that you feel in your body, like shortness of breath, feeling of tightness in your chest, maybe some tightness in your throat as well. And really what that comes from, the way that I understand it, is it comes from, again, a fear of abandonment. And likely you have been taught, quote unquote, not so many ways, that if someone is inconsistent and if someone isn't present, likely from like a childhood or a childhood figure in your life or a caregiver, then you're not loved. And so what that does is it really starts to chip at our self-worth. And it really starts to chip at how we present ourselves. Have you ever felt like when you're dating, or even if you have a partner, if that you just are never really sure? It always kind of feels like this dance of you're just never really sure of where you stand. And and then again, I'm speaking from experience here. People with anxious attachment style find it very hard to express their concerns or feelings because of maybe they don't know how, they don't feel like they know how, or they feel like that they may say the wrong thing and that person will leave, which is a real fear, right? And that's why I talk a lot about how relationships are so beautiful, because the right relationships hold us in our presence and our self-worth. But that's another story. But you want to be in relationships with an anxious attachment style. You crave feelings of intimacy with someone, but it's hard. It's hard to feel like you can trust or rely on people. And again, there may be a wound there with consistency. For example, maybe there was a death in the family when you were younger. Maybe for me, my household was really, really chaotic. Really, really chaotic. So I didn't have really a consistent source of love and loving nurturance and presence. And so what that attributed to me was a constant vigilance and anxious way of being, where I had to either know, be in their face and know that I was loved or seen or heard, or eventually what it ended up turning down to me is a shutdown. I don't know if that resonates with you. I have a few people here, so feel free to comment. And also, what I don't think is talked about so much is that with an anxious attachment style, if we are in a relationship, we tend to turn ourselves off and we dim ourselves down, and the relationship starts to take over our lives. And again, oh, that was me so much. The relationships, our being becomes that person. Instead of a healthy, secure relationship where it's kind of a triad. It's me, it's self, the other person, and then the relationship as a third kind of entity within that kind of structure. Boundaries are hard. Boundaries are hecka hard with anxious attachment style. So, I can keep going, but what I really want to talk about today is how to fix that. And these are emotional wounds and emotional patterns that, as much as we get frustrated with them, as much as hold on, I got to take a sip. So as much as we get frustrated with them, as much as we want them to stop, as much as we are aware of them, which is great steps. But depending on where you are in your journey, if you're just learning about anxious attachment, message me and I can send you some resources. The hard thing about this is that we do have to step into owning that we need to heal. We need to heal some wounds that are making these behaviors in our lives today. Making these behaviors in our lives today our normal everyday life, when in reality it's not. The kind of antithesis to an anxious attachment style is a secure attachment. It's being okay within oneself, whether that person is here with you or whether that person is away. It's being able to express your needs and desires from a heartfelt place and from a safe place, so that the expression is the action. The expression is the love. And this may be hard for some people watching, but I'm going to say it. The secure attachment is being okay whether that person, again, stays or goes, or whether that reaction from them is quote unquote positive or negative. And this is not a way of detachment. It's a way of alignment, self-love, self-care, self-worth. So we have to unlayer these parts of ourselves that are wounded, the emotional trauma that's holding within us, that's making these behaviors happen in our daily life. And the good news is that it's really not as scary. Trust me, again, raise his hand. It's really not as scary as our nervous systems think that it is. I did a video on this a couple days ago, but it takes a little bit of courage to step into, hey, I'm recognizing that this part of me needs to be healed because I want better for myself today. And I think we all kind of know that there is something better for us. Again, like prime suspect here. But we have to do things here in our adult life to get what we want, which is love. At least that's why I'm here, is to talk about love and to talk about relationships. And we have to heal those emotional wounds. We have to heal those limiting patterns that are holding with us in our body, in our brain. We are wired, right now, we are wired for this anxious attachment style. Mind blown. But there are ways that we can rewire. And that's what I do in my work. That's what, I'm sure a trauma-informed therapist, trauma-informed coach. But really, that's the equation. That's what I've done. That's what I do. And that's like my purpose. I feel like that's why I'm here on earth. I have a resource for you if you're interested. I have a workbook. It's a complimentary download on my bio, in my profile. It's called How to Deal with Anxiety and Receive Limitless Love. And it's complimentary for my community. It's actually coming down tonight. So grab it. That's a good start. And reach out if you have any questions. But this is what I know. I'm going to close with this. Everyone deserves love. Everyone. Teary-eyed. Because it's true. Everyone deserves love. No one is more flawed than the other person. No one is more or less special than the other person. We are all unique. But we have to put ourselves in situations so that we can heal. I hope that helps. I love you guys. Bye.